So today is Pope Francis's last day here in Korea. He will be leaving for the Vatican this afternoon. The Pope has been sharing messages of hope and courage, reaching out to the most vulnerable and marginalized in society. He had a very packed schedule this weekend, so today we'll be taking a look back at what kind of messages the Pope delivered over the past 2 days with our Kim Chan-ju. She's at the Myeongdong Cathedral. Good morning, Chan-ju.
Good morning, Ginger. I'm here at Myeongdong Cathedral in Central Seoul, and as you can see, already crowds of people have gathered here in front of the cathedral to see the glimpse of Pope Francis before he leaves this afternoon for Rome. And along with tight security and safety fences drawn, things are a little bit busy here, and it is raining, which is making things a little difficult. But things seems to be in order under traffic control, as you can see with the police. Pope Francis has traveled a total of 1,000 kilometers to and from different places around Korea in the past few days and met with people to share his message of hope. In the past weekend, he conducted 2 major events, the beatification ceremony and the closing of Asian Youth Day. So let's take a closer look. Last Saturday, the very first location that Pope Francis went was Seosomun Martyrs Shrine. After a prayer at Seosomun Shrine, he conducted the beatification ceremony at Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul. Then he headed to Eumseong, Chungcheongbuk-do Province, where he met with the disabled at Gotdongne Welfare Facility and also with Korean ascetics. The highlight of Saturday was the beatification ceremony.
I was so moved by just having the Pope pass by. There are no words to describe how emotional I felt.
The most impressive moment was an unexpected move by the pontiff. He stepped down from the Pope mobile and consoled the families of Seoul ferry victims.
Please help and pray for the legislation of a special law to prevent another disaster like this. Here's a letter. Please don't forget. Seoul-ho Ferry.
Major international press mainly covered the Pope's beatification ceremony and Korea's enthusiastic response. CNN and BBC highlighted the Pope's brief stop to console the bereaved families of the ferry disaster.
Back in April, and we've certainly seen a tremendous response across the board from South Koreans, as you say, the first trip here for a Pope in 25 years, and of course it is very important.
The ceremony was significant in that the Pope himself led the beatification ceremony.
Di ritornare ai primi momenti agli arbori della Chiesa in Korea.
After the beatification ceremony, Pope Francis visited Korea's largest welfare facility, Gotdongne, in Eumseong, Chungcheongbuk-do Province. There he spent more time than scheduled and showed a special interest in meeting the disabled. The pontiff was greeted with open arms and did not hurry while blessing each and every devotee at the facility.
I've only dreamed of this. In person, he's like a grandfather.
After the visit at Gotdongne yesterday, the pontiff headed to Seosan, Chungcheongnam-do Province. The Pope met with Asian bishops at Hemi Martyrdom Holy Ground. After luncheon with them, he conducted the closing mass for the Asian Youth Day events. 6,000 participants from 23 different countries, including Korea, had high expectations for the Pope's message. The mass lasted for 2 hours. Pope Francis once again emphasized to pay close attention to the poor, the weak, and those who are in need of help. Pope lived a humble life and he has been a friend to everyone in the world. His visit to Korea leaves us with a papal message to help the poor and one of consolation and strength for our youth.
So, Chan-ju, the Pope will wrap up his 5-day stay in Korea today, and although we briefly mentioned it on our headlines, what's on his itinerary for his last day here in the nation?
Well, Pope Francis will begin his day with a meeting with 7 other major religious leaders at 9 a.m., including a meeting with Venerable Chasung, head of Jogye Order of Korean Buddhism, and Reverend Kim Young-ju, representative of National Council of Churches in Korea. After that, Pope will conduct Peace and Reconciliation Mass here at Myeongdong Cathedral, and 12:45 p.m. he will be leaving for Rome after the departure ceremony in Seoul Airport, and that concludes his itinerary in Korea. Back to you, Jinju.
The highlight of today's event will be the Mass for Peace and Reconciliation at the Myeongdong Cathedral, and I hear that there will be some special guests at the gathering.
That's right, Chinju. Pope Francis' last move here in Korea is to console those with wounded souls. So about 1,500 people have been invited for the Mass, including 3 victims of Japanese military sexual slavery, North Korean defectors, and families of North Korean abductees. So during the Mass, he's expected to deliver the message of peace and reconciliation on the Korean peninsula. And once again, international attention is been focused on what other message Pope Francis has in store. Back to you, Jinju.
So Pope Francis is known to have said that he thinks his visit to Korea was a gift from God, and I believe that it was definitely a big gift for the people in Korea as well. Thank you, Chenju, for that report. That was our Kim Chenju reporting live on the messages delivered by Pope Francis over the weekend.